Hi, this is Taras Timo here in Lviv, and I am recording another live update from Ukraine. Looking at the number of views on my channel and generally on the feedback I'm receiving from you, from my viewers, I'm seeing that the interest to the events in Ukraine is starting to decline. The first wave of shock is over, and people are starting to, obviously, to not to forget completely, but to postpone, to push this conflict and the news connected to it a little bit to the background, which is understandable because it's impossible to live in this tension and this constant attention to one thing for very long time. And here in Ukraine we are also wondering how much longer can we keep mobilized as the society, because it's been 2 weeks as one day, and everyone is still very much involved in everything that is happening. It's impossible not to be, of course, living in this country and facing everything that we are facing. But still, we feel that the conflict is kind of switching the gear in a long-term thing instead of this shocking few days intensive war. What's happened here since the last update? I would say just more atrocities, more very intense fighting. One thing I discovered, which is rather new, is I'm afraid to open my Facebook in the morning, because as I page the screen of the computer, as I go through it, from time to time I'm seeing photos of my friends who are no longer with us. Thanks to God, these are usually not my close friends. These are usually my virtual friends I know through Facebook, or I have known them in my life for few years. But in every case, it's a heartbreaking experience to open your Facebook, and instead of seeing birthday cakes and some joyful events from people's lives as we are used to, instead of that see a picture of a person and then to read in small letters that he or even she was killed in battle or as a civilian under the bombs. So the conflict, the war, entered the phase where our troops have really stopped the aggressors. Their fires, assaults still continue in many directions, but generally they have no chance of advancement to any considerable degree. They are stopped in every direction, perhaps except for this poor city of Mariupol, which I reported before, this terrible humanitarian situation that is there. It's still being bombarded, it's still being shelled. Civilians are not allowed to leave the city. The green corridors have been repeatedly shot at by Russian troops. And yesterday there was this terrible bombing, which I'm sure you have seen on the news, of the hospital, of maternity hospital, with several casualties, and just heartbreaking scenes of the destroyed hospital with dead bodies inside. So what's happening is hard to describe. I just spoke to several people, journalists who have seen many bloody conflicts all over the world, with the workers of humanitarian aid organizations who have seen things in their life, but even they are shocked and devastated by what they are seeing here. It's extremely difficult to witness, even for the people who have seen many wars and participated in many rescuing operations. I chose this picture today. I'm not going to show you any slides. You have seen that all on your TV screens from real reporters. I'm not a reporter. I'm more just kind of reflecting on what's happening. But this image struck me today. It's something that resonates very much with what I have been saying and with what I feel. The fighter jet, Russian fighter jet with many civilians casualties on the board, marked as successful targets. Usually, as you know, in military, there is this custom of putting stars on the board of the plane for those enemy fighter jets that were shot down by this pilot, but in this case it's substituted with women and children, and that's what's actually happening. One more thing I would like to draw your attention to is that we also see in the media, in the social media, in some Western opinion makers that we are following on the YouTube or other platforms, that there begins certain people lose faith in, I don't know how to say that. I'm just like, I really feel like people don't believe in the possibility of winning this war. They still think Russian army is invincible. Russian army is so strong it can crash anyone, and it's better not to mess with the Russian army. I think we have already shown, our army has already shown to the world that Russian army can be beaten. All this image of invincible Russian army rests only on our own image of invincible Russian army. There is nothing invincible about that. There are many videos when Ukrainian soldiers take over their armored vehicles or tanks. They are in extremely neglected state. They are not well maintained. Their soldiers are not well trained. Their logistics just falls into pieces. There is no good supply to the army. Everything is done extremely poorly, extremely badly. And I don't know what would happen if Russian army would cross the swords with any of NATO armies. Even rather poorly equipped Ukrainian army, but very strongly motivated, has basically defeated Russian army in Ukraine as far as battleground goes. Also, we have shown the miracles of military art in the sky. Our planes have shot rockets, which is almost like impossible. The speed at which rocket flies eludes a possibility for a plane to shoot it down, but that has been done many times, and our pilots have shown that they can fight in the air very successfully. So I'm sure every NATO army would be much stronger than Russian army. Don't be afraid. Don't be fatalistic. I'm hearing these reports from various Western analysts and not really military analysts, but people who commentators on the YouTube and so on. They are saying still this old mantra that Russian army is invincible. It's not true. The other thing they are saying is that Ukraine will probably lose in the long term because Russian army is still very strong. They have a lot of reserves they can deploy, and it's almost obvious for them that Kyiv will be surrounded and surrendered and that Ukraine would be defeated. I think it's just too early to say that, and obviously the situation on the ground it's not yet victorious, but it's also not as fatalistic as it is often represented. So what we need to do is continue raising awareness among people. We should push the governments for more active help to Ukraine, and we should pray and should stay consolidated, and our victory will be quick, because Russia doesn't have resources for a very long war. And we will see what will happen. Of course, the situation is far from over, and we cannot predict what will happen in 2-3 days, but we have rather good chances of winning this war. And please believe in our army, believe in our people, and keep helping in the ways you can. Thank you very much.